Hey YouTubers, it's me Aaron again, and we're here today with my personal Traxxas 1/16 E Revo. This car is no longer an XL5. It's come a long way in the last 4 years. I've actually almost got this thing tuned to perfection and running to perfection. Okay, I've done a video on this car about, I don't know, I'm going to say about 8-9 months ago. But a lot has changed since then. So this video is to pretty much go over everything that I've changed and everything that I've improved, which I have done in certain spots. Okay, so just by looking, first thing you're going to notice, the tires have changed. Okay, these tires are the Proline 2.2 road rage tires mounted on Desperado rims. Okay, it took me a second to think about that. These tires are good. They are a discontinued tire. Okay, so you no longer will be able to buy them, but whatever is left out there is left out there. It took me a little while. I have to go through 2 different companies to get a set for the front and a set for the rear. It doesn't matter whether they're fronts or rears, they just come as a set of 2. But I've had to go through 2 companies to get them because they are discontinued. But I gotta say, hands down, these tires are the best fucking tires I've ever had for this car. The beadlock Titus Proline tires I had about 8-9 months ago that were on the last video. They are good tires, but one thing I gotta tell you, they are a little heavy. Putting 4 of those tires on your car, that adds about anywhere between a quarter pound, half pound of extra weight on your car that it just does not need. And having said that, I had some overheating issues just with those tires alone. The motor was just, and the motor and ESC were just overworked completely trying to spin those things at a speed that was just ridiculous. Yeah, so that's why I switched these. These tires are no lighter or no bigger or smaller than the Beatus or the beadlock Titus rims. Okay, they're just a tad cheaper. They're lightweight. Okay, since I put these tires on, my motor and ESC has not overheated once, and I've went through a full pack. Before, I was maybe stopping once every 10 minutes to let it cool down and to continue. So I thought it was overgeared, but it just turned out to be the tires. I ended up throwing the stock tires back on, ran with that for a little while, and I was happy with it until I got these. These tires are really, really good. Very good street tire. Seeing as I don't really go off-road with this car at all, this car is strictly an on-road just because of the way it is now. The next thing you'll notice is the body. The body has changed completely. It is a custom painted body. Okay, what we have done here is a metallic candy red. All we did was go out and buy the custom paint. We got the translucent red. Okay, so we just layer of your translucent red, then you put on your metal specs, which gave you the graphite and the metallic look, a clear coat for scratch resistance, as well as a white plastic eggshell paint to go on the very, very bottom to completely seal everything in. So this way there is no scratches and blemishes that show through the other side once you put your body on and it kind of rubs up against the body post and stuff like that. I haven't yet to have that issue. So having a clear coat and a coat of eggshell white on the bottom really did help out quite a bit. Okay, but this is the body, and as a close-up, I don't know if you could really see too much detail by looking at that, but it does look really nice. Okay. Okay, so getting into the nitty-gritty, the latest changes I have made to this car is the motor and the ESC combo. In this car, I have the Mama Max Pro SCT edition. Okay, it's a 4-pole motor, 550 size can, 2400 kV, with a 75,000 RPM max limit on these motors. Okay, these motors are very, very fast. I used to have this motor and ESC in my Rustler. Okay, and this motor and ESC threw that truck around quite a bit, so it is a very, very powerful system. I kind of underestimated it first. But right now I'm running 3S only. Okay, so this ESC system will go between 2S to 4S. Okay, like I said, I'm only running 3 right now. I gotta go out and buy some 2S lipos to run in series for 4S. Okay, I've yet to do that yet, but I cannot wait until I do. The way it works with this system, 2S is very slow, 3S is fun, but 4S is extreme. And I mean extreme fun. Like, you're gonna go wow when you look at that. Okay, stock gearing, I didn't really go apeshit with the gearing. There's no need to. Okay, this car goes fast as it is, especially with this motor going 4S, it's gonna go even faster. Yeah, so I'll give you pretty much a close look at it. Okay, so I had taken the ESC and I flipped it sideways because standing it up straight didn't really work out very well. The wire stuck out. The ESC stuck out quite a bit. So I found that mounting it with a Velcro, okay, Velcro on the back of the ESC, or the bottom, sorry, and on the side. Okay, the side is where it sits in the seat down here. Okay, right there. It sits there, and this Velcro here is to rest along the motor, just to keep it in place, so this way it just doesn't move all over the place. And I found that with the Velcro, I have yet to have the ESC fly out of the car and then get dragged down the street, which I have had happen before. Yeah. So the batteries I'm running in this system are still the typical 3S Max Amp 50C rated batteries that I had showed in the last video, as well as my running video with the Sidewinder 3. Yeah. The switch, another thing I did, a lot of people kind of don't do anything about, but the switch, what I ended up doing with the switch here was I took this empty servo slot here, because I used to run 2, but I only run 1 now, but I'll get to that in a second. I took the switch here and just kind of stuck it in the slot there, and then just screwed it down, and it's been strong. It doesn't move, it doesn't go nowhere. It stays put. The other thing, moving on to the other side, is the Savic servo. It's a waterproof digital Savic servo. Okay. It won't get any clearer than that, I don't think. No. Okay, so this is a digital SW0250 metal geared waterproof servo that is pretty much a direct drop-in replacement for your stock one. And with this one, you will only need 1 servo, because one of these is equivalent to having 2 of these stock Traxxas, torque-wise. Okay, so that's why you only see 1. Otherwise, if the torque was the same, I'd probably put both of them. What else? Bulkheads. Okay, in this car, what I have done was get the aluminum hot racing bulkheads. And I don't know if you can see them, but I will try my best to show you that they are in there, that I'm not, telling a lie. But they are in there. As you can see, a little bit of a reflection in there. And you'll notice the hot racing HR logo in there. Okay. These are aluminum. What they do is they eliminate the amount of flex that is in the stock bulkhead. Okay, so when you have your plastic bulkheads in there, after a while they will become weak from all that power being put through. They will flex and allow the teeth and the pinion gear in your dips to skip and eventually result in completely breaking all the teeth off and wearing down, whatnot. And I have replaced my dips twice in the last year just because of that reason. When you're getting up to speeds like this, 4S LiPo, you may want to build up your drivetrain. And that's where I was saying, okay, you may want to get your aluminum bulkheads in there. You want to shim your diffs, even though you have aluminum bulkheads, still shim them, because there's still a little bit of side-to-side play in there. Get your center drive shafts and your outers as well. Okay, so this car is fully equipped with outer drive shafts as well as the inner center drive shaft. There is no center differential. I will not put a center differential in here because I've seen so many people do it and I've seen them have so many headaches. Okay, this car handles very, very well as it is on its own. It does not need a center differential. There are other ways of taking care of your handling, which I will get to as well. What else? Yeah, okay, you know what, let's get to that. So your handling. In this car, I think I went over this last video, I have the aluminum body GTR shocks in this car. I stated in my last video that I was running 100 weight oil in this car for the shocks, but that is no longer the case. I have switched it up to 30,000 weight diff grease in these shocks, and I found that the car flips over way less. Okay, and my shocks are not tightened down all the way, and I find that it has such a, like, right, it goes up and it comes slowly down, right? That's the diff grease. And like, it won't bottom out. I can sit there, I can drop it, it just absorbs all the shock. It still allows you to have side-to-side sway, okay? But it just doesn't allow the car to eventually just roll over. It's been a lot better since then. And another thing I did, which I will show, right in here. Okay, so in here, you'll see there, okay, I ended up replacing the, I don't know what the fuck you call them, but they're like a white plastic collar that comes stock in these stupid things. I don't know why they came stock. They should have just came with bearings. But that is an optional thing. You can just go out and get bearings for them. And that's exactly what I did. And it just makes your suspension so much smoother. And it gives it really, really, really good motion, right? It doesn't fuck around. And that's the other thing I noticed with this car. Like, stock out of the box really is no good. You're better off buying every aftermarket part there is for this car before you even buy the car. Out of the box, you're in the Bronx. This thing is so ghetto when it is out of the box. Like, they are nice, they are good trucks, but you gotta really, really, really sink a lot of money into them to handle and operate the way you feel that they should be. Like I said before, this car I've had this car for 4 years now, and this year I'm just finishing it off, and I won't have to ever buy another part for it again unless it's a chassis. And that's what I've narrowed down my breakages to, is the chassis. So if it breaks now, it's just the chassis. Everything else, like the A-arms, all the suspension arms and everything are plastic. They're just made by RPM. So they are thicker. They are a little bit more durable. They won't fall apart. The aluminum bulkheads, okay, now your diffs aren't going to strip anymore. Also the blue axle carriers I have in here, they're made by RPM as well. They're much, much, much better than the stock, because the stock ones break way too easy. 1 or 2 cartwheels down the street, you're replacing them. If not, the plugs always like to get punched out. The plugs will go flying, and they're also plastic as well. No good. Okay, so these are really reinforced, and the caps that hold the pillow ball in place are screwed into the axle carrier instead of just being pushed and plugged in. Okay, so RPM products are the way to go for this car. Batteries batteries, what I'm going to do in order to run 4S, I'm going to have to go out and buy some 2S max amps to run in series, okay? Always go out and buy the max amps because the max amps have the best C rating battery for this size, right? You won't find any other battery better than max amps for this car. I'm sorry to tell you. It's just max amps on this one, guys. They are expensive, but they're well worth the money. Okay. So yeah, the diff grease, make sure, okay. You could experiment with thinner diff greases. I'd probably start with a 10,000 weight and work your way up. I just jumped from 100 weight oil to 30,000 weight diff grease in the shocks, and I've found a dramatic improvement with handling and turns alone, because this car now I can go full speed into a turn without it just, you know, okay, it just does not do that anymore. It'll actually right into your turn. It'll just stay on all fours and continue on. This car has all the telemetry. I think I also went over that last video. It's got the RPM sensor, battery sensor, motor temperature sensor. That's about it. Okay, so that's all I have in this car. What else? This car also has TSM. My other receiver took a shit somehow. It fried. Don't know how. I just went to go use it one day. It just did not turn on. So, and it was the receiver. I ended up going out buying a new TSM receiver. Not that this car needs it now, but it is good to have. Okay, you have that little bit of extra stability control on your car. Yeah, works really, really nice. So other than that, the only changes I've made were tires, body. Not that the body adds to performance at all. It doesn't. It's just cosmetic. The bulkheads, however, will help you with your diff stripping problem. If you have a diff stripping problem where you're replacing your diffs every 6 months, then yeah, I think it's time for you to look into getting the hot racing bulkheads. You can get them off eBay, Amazon, and I think there is one supplier that sells directly for hot racing, and that's liquidrc.com. You can go there and get these bulkheads as well. I got these off Amazon and eBay, so worked for me. Other than that, this car as a whole works very, very well. It's very smooth. Now that I've gotten the new bulkheads in there, and the diffs are shimmed, and that's the other thing too. Even if you don't have the plastic bulkheads, shim your diffs. You go out, you get the parts that you require, okay, so now you go out and get the team-associated shims. I think it's the part number is 21141, I believe it is, okay. You go out and get those shims, 3 shims per bulkhead, so 3 shims per diff. Grease it all up, put it back together, and the thing will just work amazingly. But keep in mind that if you're still using the plastic bulkheads and you do shim your diffs, it will only work for so long until your bulkheads really, really weaken out. That's the only way. So every time you replace your diffs, you may as well just go out and buy new bulkheads with them too, because that means that your bulkheads have been flexing and they're weak. But the aluminum ones take care of that, so I personally don't have to worry about that problem anymore. So I should be only going back to replacing diffs once a year as opposed to twice, if not 3 times a year, which is a very, very big pain in the ass, because this car is very tough to work on because it has a lot of small parts and small other parts hooked to that part. Yeah. The less you have to do at once, the better. Okay, so if you have to go down for a huge rebuild, make sure you have all your parts at once. Do it all at once. So this way you don't have to keep taking the car apart again and over and over and over. It just saves so much time and a lot of headaches and energy. Okay, so other than that, the changes I have pretty much pointed out to you are the more beneficial ones. So if you guys have any comments, questions, theories, queries, Okay, feel free to comment below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Yeah, guys, so once again, my name's Aaron, and this is my personal 1/16 Traxxas E Revo brushless edition. My version of the brushless edition, just because it has the Mamba Max Pro SCT combo in there. But yeah, guys, have a good one.